My closest friends smirked and rolled their eyes when I told them I wanted to create an astrological movie. I shared an idea with them that I had decades ago about creating this personalized movie people could watch to learn about who they are at the very core of their being, so they could discover their purpose for incarnating in this lifetime, and to learn how they might be dragging some karmic patterns with them from past lifetimes that just won't work in this one. I knew it would help people, and I knew that people would enjoy watching a beautiful movie about themselves far more than just reading a report, because it truly brings astrology to life in a very visual way. But my friends didn't think it was possible. They didn't believe I could actually create it. And one of them actually snickered when I told her. That hurt a bit, but it didn't stop me because I knew I could do it. You see, I've always been on the cutting edge of technology, and I had the foresight when I had this idea back in the 1990s that it definitely would be possible to create in the future. No matter what my friends believed, I knew I'd be able to create this in my lifetime. Well, they aren't laughing anymore. Because I did it. When I had this idea decades ago, I knew technology would be able to catch up, and it did. And why is this such a big deal? Well, you see, for centuries, astrologers had to calculate astrology charts by hand. And that takes a whole lot of time and a whole lot of effort and a lot of incredibly accurate mathematical calculations. And that was something that most people couldn't afford. A long time ago, astrologers were regarded as wise men, and their knowledge was considered to be essential for rulers to make smart decisions that would make or break empires. And only royalty or very rich people could afford to consult with astrologers. And I stand against that. It is really important to me that everyone is able to access this important information, because it's such a powerful tool that can help us all live much better lives. When you know your strengths, you can leverage them. When you know your hidden weaknesses, you can overcome them. Knowledge is power. It gives you control over your life, over your future, over your destiny. And I want that for everyone, not just people who have a lot of money. Thankfully, technology has caught up with my dream, and I've been able to make my dream real. It now takes mere seconds to calculate astrology charts with computers, instead of hours of an ephemeris doing complicated calculations by hand. It's akin to how sailors used to calculate their navigation manually using the stars as a compass. They don't do that anymore, of course, because they have technology that's much faster to use now. Modern software advancements can not only be used to calculate astrology charts, but can now also pull in video segments for each specific planetary placement and link them together to create a personalized movie for each and every person who watches it. When I began working on this, I wanted to make sure that it was exactly what people wanted. So I surveyed my followers who told me that they really wanted their movie to have a soothing voice. So I made sure that it does. It was also extremely important to me for all of the astrological information to be 100% accurate. There are so many unethical people out there calling themselves astrologers that they're giving people inaccurate information. Tons of people on social media are just making stuff up that misleads people. I've even known of apps that just look at zodiac horoscopes and recycle them. They stopped when people got upset because the information was not correct, of course. It really gets to me. The unscrupulous so-called astrologers leading people down the wrong path just because they want to make a quick buck at their expense. This has upset me so much, I have literally lost sleep over it. Anyone can call themselves an astrologer, but are they really? How do you really know? I'll tell you how you know. You look at their credentials. Many of them don't have any, and that really upsets me. They are deceiving people, taking advantage of them, misleading them, and that's not okay. So what are my credentials, you may ask? Well, I'll get to those in a moment, but first I want to tell you about myself and share a brief story with you about how I came to be a professional astrologer. Well, hi, I'm Kelly Fox, the founder of Spiritual.THEY and creator and producer of this personalized astrology movie, which I created so you can learn all about who you really are by looking at the stars to tell your story. As a small child, I was fascinated with the stars and loved to look at all the constellations in the night sky. I would gaze up at them for hours. I was also completely captivated by the connections between ancient mythology and astrology. And when I was 8 years old, I began studying everything I could about astrology. I absorbed it like a sponge, and I asked everyone I knew for their date of birth so I could study their zodiac sign. In 1990, I began my formal astrological training at the College of Humanistic Astrology and then launched Astrology.com in 1995. And that was my home online until 2003. And in 98, I received my accreditation from the Federation of Australian Astrologers, which involved a 2-hour exam. And that same year, I also became a professional member of the American Federation of Astrologers. That accreditation required passing 2 exams that were 8 hours each. And in the year 2000, I became a member of the International Society of Astrological Research. That year, I also took 4 exams that were 4 hours each to earn my accreditation with the National Council for Geocosmic Research. And one of the exams consisted exclusively of extremely precise mathematical calculations. It was a busy year. I also became the first member of the Founders Circle of Kepler College and am still an emeritus member of the Board of Trustees of Kepler College, which was the first college in the Western Hemisphere authorised to issue BA, AA and MA degrees in astrological studies from the year 2000 to 2012. In 2005, I launched theastrologer.com, which was my home until I launched Astrology.TV in 2019. So I do have the accreditations to prove that I understand astrology on the deepest level. I have the extensive knowledge required to interpret astrology charts correctly, so people have accurate and empowering information about themselves. I have the expertise to create this unique personalized movie that shows you the blueprint the universe created for you on the day you were born, as well as many other types of astrological readings. It's so important that people receive correct astrological information. People make life-changing decisions based on this info, and it has to be accurate. If it's inaccurate, that can lead them down the wrong path in life. Unfortunately, this happens far too often. The calculations that I use are actual rocket science because the data for the software comes directly from NASA. This is not an algorithm guessing what you might want. This is an actual planetary blueprint of the day you were born. It will help you know who you are and understand how you interact with the people around you. Your astrological movie can give you guidance to help overcome fear of the unknown. Once you know who you really are, life isn't as much of a struggle. You aren't trying to fit in. You can be completely yourself. You can take the steps required to fulfill your destiny when you know your divine purpose for this lifetime. Some people have asked me why I don't ask for your birth time, and it's because people don't always know, and then they make up a time of birth, which then leads to them receiving inaccurate information. And because I want 100% accuracy, I remove the moon placement, the houses, the rising or the ascendant sign, and focus much more deeply on the other planetary placements that can be found with just your date of birth. And I even created cusp movies for the zodiac sign readings to make sure everyone was covered, since I'm not asking for the time of birth. In these times when things are so confusing, so uncertain, there is one thing that I am certain of. Astrology can be a powerful tool to help guide your way and light your path through times of darkness and confusion. And for many people, astrology offers confirmation of what they already know or suspect about themselves. Most people don't know what they are actually capable of and just believe what authority tells them they can do, which is so much more limited than reality. We all have this innate ability to do a lot more than we've been led to believe. And we all can do what we came here to do when we have the guidance to know what that is. I truly believe this is how we get ourselves out of this situation. We each turn inward and reflect upon our purpose for existing on this beautiful planet right now. We each discover our mission, and we each start living our lives in alignment with our own unique purpose for being here at this point in time. Take a minute and close your eyes. Now envision a planet where we are all doing what we came here to do. Can you see how that will change things in a huge way? I believe that we can actually create new ways of doing things here on Earth that will work for all of us, not just some of us. And that is what will save us. That is what will empower us. That is how we can turn our life situation into an opportunity for growth, leading to much better outcomes for all of us. So this isn't just about you. When you discover who you are, when you start living the life you were born to live, that makes things better for everyone. And that is how I believe we create the world we truly want to live in. If you're ready to see the movie I created all about you, then just click the button below to get started. You really don't know astrology until you've tried this.